you need to understand that you're being lied to as a citizen here in the West, just completely being lied to. If for any reason you suspected that people like me are out here just, devoting our lives to this cause for no reason at all, because it's all just made up stories, well, now we have our receipts to show you. There's no greater body in the world that could declare this a famine, and there's no greater group of people in the world that could officially declare this a genocide. And now in the past 2 weeks, it's been declared both officially. Between those two, it wasn't after the genocide declaration, it was before this came out, after the famine declaration. You had Trump coming out on, I believe it was Truth Social, and calling Netanyahu a war hero. Despicable. Another weekend and a lot of news happening. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you had a good holiday. And a lot of news has happened here regarding really the world at large. But I'm going to stay focused on Israel here for a second. What was it? I don't know if it was Friday. I think it was Friday that we had the Jews struck the Yemeni capital. So we have an attack on the Yemeni, essentially the presidential palace, taking out the prime minister and cabinet officials. And so, geez, just unprovoked, essentially. And you have another situation here where, U.S. is aiding Israeli military and attacking, really, they didn't strike anything having to do with Ansar Allah, the group that's blockading the Red Sea and, of course, sending these missiles into Tel Aviv and into Israel. They attacked the people, essentially, striking the presidential palace, seat of government. It could be looked at as another attempt on a decapitation strike. It's just not good at all. So we have that front expanding. This is something that could really drag many other actors that are sitting on the sidelines back into it. At the same time, you have what's going on in Lebanon. They're trying to disarm the Lebanese government, trying to disarm Hezbollah, and it looks like they're really trying to put the finishing touches on, dismantling, the state of Lebanon, turn it into a complete client state. So with this strike on Yemen, you have Hezbollah's certainly back in the mix, I would say. Really got everything. All the Arabs, I think, should be paying attention here. This sets a precedent. Certainly the similar type of strike that they just did on Iran, but you have to think that if you're of any government there in the Middle East, where Israel claims to be your friend, at any moment you could come and get airstrikes rained down on your leaders in your capital, and especially if you're one of these countries that's on that greater Israel map, then you better watch out. So dangerous situation there. We officially have been declared a famine, in case you guys missed that this past week. That was from 2 weeks ago now, but we have the IPC officially declaring a state of famine in Gaza. Just now you have a group of, they're referring to them as a group of scholars online, but you have basically a bunch of academics coming out and confirming that what we have is a genocide in Gaza as well. So for anybody out there that is for some reason believing the lies at this point, you need to understand that you're being lied to as a citizen here in the West, just completely being lied to. If for any reason you suspected that people like me are out here just, devoting our lives to this cause for no reason at all, because it's all just made up stories, well, now we have our receipts to show you. There's no greater body in the world that could declare this a famine, and there's no greater group of people in the world that could officially declare this a genocide. And now in the past 2 weeks, it's been declared both officially. Boy, if you look at the famine conditions fact sheet, I'll have to put that over. I'll have to go over that here in a second. When we get up inside, I'll get on my laptop and throw that on this video here. And but the conditions in Gaza far surpass the threshold requirements for what they consider a famine. I mean, they're beyond it by multiples in categories. Yeah, so that deserves some attention there. We'll take a look at that quick. Yeah, so you have officially declared famine, genocide. You know, we got between those two, it wasn't after the genocide declaration. It was before this came out, after the famine declaration. You had Trump coming out on, I believe it was Truth Social, and calling Netanyahu a war hero. Despicable. You know, there was also a list of refute to the genocide claims that were just put out by this group of scholars. I'm not sure exactly who the officials were, but I read a Newsweek article. I'll bring that up here. So we'll go over the IPC, we'll go over the Newsweek article, and yeah, just disgusting the way that these Jews continue to live in their lies. They are gonna stick to this till there's nobody left. It seems like this is clearly what they're gonna go down. They're dying on this hill, and as Americans, as citizens of the West, we need to realize that we're being completely lied to, and we are fueling, supporting, financing, working with one of, if not the most evil regimes ever in the history of this planet. If you know the forces that are really at work, then you would understand why that's the case, because they're literally working for the bad guy. But that's certainly what's going on here. It's good versus evil. It's us versus them. And if you're out here indulging the ways of the world, if you're out here with your head buried in the sand, distracted by the ways of the world, not paying attention to the evil in the world, you're caught up. This is an outrage. This should have the attention of every single right-minded persons out there. Every single person. There's no one that should not care about seeing another person just like them being brutally terrorized. This is real terrorism, what the Jews are doing to the Palestinian people. You know, it's really interesting how they literally flip everything. I was just watching a report on the situation in the Levant there. I'm trying to think what this was. That was a completely flipped scenario, but it's often that they lay claim, and they are actually the ones doing the exact things that they claim about. Well, you know, the genocide proclamation and declaration proved as much when they talked about the sexual crimes, right? This was something that the Israelis claimed that Hamas was doing, raping babies, raping and it turns out that there's been no proof of that. In this genocide declaration, these scholars did include essentially that rape has been used as a weapon of terror by the IDF or IOF, Israeli Occupation Force. So what you have there is a situation where they've constantly been accusing Hamas of doing raping Jews and everything else, and the proof is that they themselves are the one that are doing this. sodomized a man with a broomstick, caught on video, all sorts of things. It's all been caught on video. And you know, those genocide scholars did a fine job of refuting the claims because by the Israelis, you know, the claims of innocence, because they're always in the public, in the news, they're sticking to their lies. Oh no, they have their lines that they go to, and they deny basically doing any wrong. But then if you pay attention, right, which Americans don't, but the world does, and if you pay attention to like Jewish media and what's happening within Israel, there's whole groups of them within Israel that talk about this genocide as a matter of fact, as something that not only do they know that is happening, but they want this to be happening. You have Smotrich, Ben Gvir, openly discussing starvation as a tactic. They're not doing this by accident. They know what they're doing, and they admit to it. These genocide scholars were hip to that. That was referenced. The fact that there is a disparity between the lies that they put forth in Western media to throw the citizens of the West off track, and the actual reality on the ground, and then what they say to themselves in their own country. So if you like read the whole scene, you see what's going on. But citizens here in the West, I can tell you from being in America, it's disgusting. People don't seem to care, man. Some people know about it, they care, but by and large, people just are, going about their lives, stuck in their own business. And really, I just see like a whole group, mass amounts of people that are just caught up by distractions, the beast distractions. And then before I click off here, two more things. One, the other big news from the weekend was the Freedom Flotilla launching. So we got the largest ever flotilla headed to Gaza. Now, check out on my Substack. I have an article that I'm about to publish about this one, so you can share that around for those that like to read. And so this flotilla includes the Handala, which was the previous attempt at breaking the siege via flotilla. It was a solo voyage, and there was a black guy here from America that did quite well during that situation, handled himself very, very well. Shout out to you, bro. Props to you. You're an example. And I don't know if any of you guys remember that, but he was, detained and abused by the IOF. I guess they said he was being choked with his chain and yada, yada, yada. He got some special treatment on account of being a black American, it seemed, on that boat. So regardless, that boat didn't make it through. But now what we have is we have activists doubling, tripling, quadrupling down and refocusing. And it looks like we have the largest ever flotilla now launching off to try to break the siege in Gaza. They launched boats out of Barcelona 2 days ago, I believe, or yesterday morning, one or the other. And I wrote most of that article. I just need to edit it and finish it. And I know that when I had finished writing the majority of it yesterday, I saw a report from the Young Turks that said the flotilla had turned back to Barcelona due to bad weather. So regardless, this is 50 to 70 ships from representing, 44 or 46 countries in the world, 6 continents. You literally have people coming from all over the world to take part in this. The citizens from the world over are sick of what we've seen in Gaza, and God bless all these people that are stepping up and trying to do something about it with this flotilla. I believe the ships are leaving. The intent is to leave Barcelona, which would obviously be the European contingent of this group, and they're meeting up with I believe in Tunisia. They're meeting up with another group in Tunisia. That that group itself may have been a gathering of like North African groups. I believe, if I remember this article correctly, it was like a gathering of four main humanitarian groups that try to get aid into Gaza, and some of them may have done flotillas before. So they're calling this the Global Samud Flotilla. Samud, I believe, is Arabic for resilience, and there's another word. Check the article, I can't remember it. But boy, what a sign that we're showing here to the world. Everyone that understands the severity of our situation here, which, don't get it twisted, this is the moment. This is the big deal. The Gaza situation is everything. If we allow our leaders to do this to this group of people right here while everybody watches, this is precedent so that they can go turn around and do it to anyone at any time. This issues of even more importance when you understand the control that Israel has over our government. This is really the start to getting back control of things here for ourselves in the West. Get rid of the Jewish control, get rid of the corporate influence. Issuing Gaza is of prime importance. There's nothing more important than this right now. This is the big deal. This is what all the distractions are about, to distract you from this. Ooh, look at the aliens. This is what it's about, folks. This has been the main playbook going back to post-World War II, right? This is like, everything is about this. We've had generations of politicians in America being bought out, acting on behalf of Israel, and it looks like falling victim to blackmail. So, and all for the sake of carrying out the demands and wishes of what benefits Israel, not us. We have a Israeli first policy here, not America first, and it's really sick. We need to stop what we're doing. Trump he double-crossed everybody, and boy, if you're still caught up in the two-party system, man, wake up out there, America, wake up. And don't go jump to Elon's party. This is a moment where we need to take control for ourselves. Things are so out of control right now, and things have the potential to fly off the handle in really any direction. This is a questionable time. This is a time that's in flux. We've really messed up what we've done, our influence on the international stage. Western leaders have just buried whatever was good left of America and Europe, and whatever positive influences we had on the world. Well, we just burned all of our soft power up through these two conflicts that we've funded and been involved in and lied about. And I mean, it's just, we got to stand up and say, not in our good name. Not in our good name, man. Free Palestine, end the siege in Gaza. Blessings out to the entire Samud flotilla. Hope you guys get through. And when you do finally launch, getting back from this, from the bad weather here. So, yeah, we'll go in, check out these classes, check out the IPC, integrated food security phase food security classification, and then the genocide declaration. It's happening fast, guys. Pay attention. Can't sit on your hands here. God bless.